Now to what some are calling the Great Drought of 2011. The state of Texas, for one of the 14 states suffering and sweltering through this disaster. Some have been comparing to the Dust Bowl of the 1930s, an epic drought the experts started tracking back in February. It hasn't stopped spreading, now covers just about the entire lower third of this country. Water supplies are drying up, crops, cattle are dying, and there's no relief in sight, sadly.
This drought is choking the life out of cattle and crops. Just take a look at this parched cornfield. The drought that's baking a massive swath of the southern U.S. is the most extreme since scientists started tracking drought conditions more than a decade ago. Almost 12% of the country is now enduring a brutal combination of high temperatures and too little rain. In Texas, 13 of 254 counties have been declared disaster areas. Some ranchers struggling to feed their cattle are forced to either sell or slaughter them. Normally fertile farmlands are bone dry. The Texas Farm Bureau says the state's wheat crop is a loss. And hardest hit here is cotton, which accounts for half of the U.S. crop. Estimated agricultural losses in Texas alone total more than $3 billion. In Oklahoma, there's no relief in sight.
We're talking about this long-term severe drought. It's going to take some major tropical moisture to actually get us close to average for much of the state, and it does not look like that's in the cards here over the next week or so, and that is some bad news.
Well, Rob, normally dark clouds hovering over Oklahoma would mean rain, but not this summer. Those dark clouds are likely to be smoke from wildfires that have burned thousands of acres in the past months. Just one of the effects of the severe drought in Oklahoma that has farmers and ranchers praying for rain. A historic drought is poised to do what the Dust Bowl couldn't: drive towns in this parched region out of existence and change the Midwest way of life for good.
The drought in Oklahoma, particularly in the western part of the state, is what's considered D4. That's the worst kind of drought. That's the exceptional drought. That's the kind of drought that you have less than a 2% chance of having in any given year over a 100-year period. So we're talking about an extreme set of circumstances that we would see maybe 1 or 2 times per century. And as you know, this particular century, we already have had some excessive droughts, the 1930s, the Dust Bowl, and then again in the 1950s. So we're seeing now some of those 1930s records fall in this particular drought. So we are looking at something that's very similar to the Dust Bowl.
And as our water continues to drip away, other symptoms of the drought may ignite another big problem. State Forester George Geisler.
We have all of the conditions out there right now that could be extreme from a fire standpoint, but people are being aware, they're taking the time, and if we continue that vigilance, we would be in good shape. You know, if you look at our surrounding states, Texas, New Mexico, Kansas, they're having a huge wildfire problem right now, and while we do have a fire problem ongoing right now with fires around our state, it's nothing like what you see there, even though our conditions are very similar. And the only thing that we can figure at this point is because people are actually being aware and doing a good job, and we want all Oklahomans to keep that up.
Cows about 60 head. Okay. So they all cave out and I have good luck. At about 120 head total cows and cave.
Now, why'd you go with a solar as opposed to running electricity?
Because to run from that line over there, they said they'd have to set 3 poles, and that's $500 a pole.
Why'd you choose solar over your windmill?
Well, I really didn't know nothing about either one. But I know windmills normally require more maintenance than the solar system would. See, like I said, nothing can go, ever what happened to this thing, I can fix it myself. Either you lose a module here or there.
And that's it.
That's right. And the pump wears off.
Right.
One man can pull that pump.
How many feet stay down?
140 feet. That's the depth of the well. But we just down there 90 feet in about 90. It may not be 90. And that's just about the size, just about what it is right there. Mm-hmm.